Hey guys and gals, it's Mr. V. Hey, we are going to try this again. Hopefully you can hear me. Today we are going to work on dividing decimals. And in order to do that, I'll be honest, the best knowledge I have of dividing decimals is using the old school method of standard algorithm. So we're going to walk through standard algorithm. I'm going to show you a couple problems, just normal standard algorithm division. So you're going to see how it's a little different than partial quotient. The biggest way it's different is you have to pick the perfect number. You cannot pick something smaller like we could in partial quotient and just do multiple steps. You have to pick the best perfect number. And that's where knowing your facts comes in and doing a lot of side work. Okay? So we're going to start off kind of easy. So when you do it, you're just going to make the house. You do not need to make the line down the side because there are no partial quotients. Your answer is going to go up top. We'll make this 453 divided by, let's just go easy and we'll say divided by 3. Okay. Now, how you do this, how this is different. You don't need a help box. You don't need anything like that. What you're going to do is you're just going to use this. So you're going to cover up your digits in the dividend. Okay. And you're going to look at your divisor, 3, and you're going to go one by one. And you're going to look at it. And you're going to go, can 3 go into 4? So that's how you're going to look at this. And then your answer is yes. So then you say, well, how many times can 3 go into 4? That's called dividing. So your first step is to divide. Okay, so you're going to divide. Cover it up. Ask yourself, how many times can 3 go into 4? 1 time. So since it's 1 time, you're going to put him right there. And you're going to put a 1 right there above the 4. Okay, so then you're going to figure out, well, how many groups did I make? That step is the multiply step. Okay, so then 1 times 3. Some people even put a multiply sign there. 1 times 3 is 3. And you just put it under the 4 where you were. That's it. Ignore these 2 for now. Then you're going to figure out what's left, just like we did in partial quotient. And then you're going to subtract and you have 1. Now, this is a new step. This step is called bring down. You are going to bring down the next digit. Not all digits, the next one. So you're going to pull this 5, and he's going to now go down here, and now you have the number 15. So now you're going to ask yourself, how many times can 3 go into 15? You're going to say, well, know your facts, 5 times. So the 5 goes right above it because the number you drop, that's where the next digit will go. Now you're going to figure out, well, how many groups did I make? 5 times 3 is 15. 15 minus 15 is 0. Okay, now you're not done because you still have another number to bring down. You have to bring all the numbers down. So you're going to come down, got to draw your arrow, bring him down. Now you ask yourself again. So again, you're still dividing. How many times can 3 go into 3? We're in the basement now. Well, 3 can go into 3 1 time. So you put it right above it. Again, this is going to be crucial for some of my messier students that you keep this nice and neat. Because if you don't, your place value will be off. 1 times 3 is 3. And then I subtract, I have 0. There's nothing left. There's nothing more to bring down. So I am done. That is my answer. Okay, let's try another one. But this time I'm going to put a decimal in it. So I'm going to have 47.2, and I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, now there are a couple things we're going to learn here. First off, what do you do if there's a decimal in your dividend? Okay, decimal in the dividend only. So what do you do if there's a decimal in the dividend only? You're going to just bring him straight up. That's it. Bring him straight up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take him and I'm going to put him right in my quotient. That's it. Okay. Now you're going to divide normally. Divide like we just did up top. Okay. So now you can ignore him. He's in your answer. That's all you had to do. Okay. So now I'm going to cover up. How many times can 5 go into 4? He cannot. So now I got to move to the next digit. How many times can 5 go into 47? That I know is 9 times because 9 times 5 is 45. So now I make sure to put it under the 7 because I used the 47. So I got to put it under the number that I uncover last. So 5 could not go into 4. He was too big. 5 can go into 47. I have to use the best number, okay? If I do not use the best number, and I'll show you this in a second, it will not work, okay? So I multiplied 9 times 5 to get 45. Now I subtract and I get 2. Ignore that decimal and just bring the other 2 down. Now, look what happens, and you don't have to do this, just watch. Look what happens if I don't use the right number. Say I use 3. 3 times 5 is 15, and if I subtract this, I have 7. This remainder, or this part of my dividend cannot be bigger than the 5. So you have to do a quick check. Is this guy bigger or smaller? He's bigger, which means you could have went one more time. So it does not work. Okay? So you have to have the perfect number. So 3 was not perfect, where in partial quotient we could have. If I do 5 and I did 25, you're going to see that doesn't work either, because you can't have your bigger number on bottom. And some of you do that. You got to be careful because you aren't thinking when you do that. So this is why this method, I keep telling you, you have to know your facts super well. So now I'm going to put my 4 here, and I'm going to go 4 times 5 to get 20. I subtract, and I have 2. Now, remainders do not exist. So I can't just put 9.4 remainder 2. That wouldn't work. But what we do know is there's actually another digit right here behind the last decimal number. And you should know that is the number 0. So I can put a 0 there, and guess what I can do? Now I can drop him down and keep going. Okay? So that's how decimal division works. There are no remainders. You can just keep dividing until you get at a solution, or eventually you might have to stop, because sometimes decimal numbers can go on forever. If you ever think of the number pi, 3.141528, and it goes on forever. It never stops. This one will stop because if I look at it, now I have the 20. 5 into 20 is 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. My answer is 9.44, but I had to go and extend one more 0 to get it to work. Okay? Now, watch what happens when I have a decimal in the divisor and the dividend. So we'll go 0.3 and 6.41. Okay? You cannot, or you do not want a decimal in the divisor. It's okay to be in the dividend. It is not okay to be in the divisor. So we want to decimal. What do we do if there's a decimal in divisor? Okay? Multiply him out. And what does that mean? It means move him however many times you need this 3 to be a whole number. Okay? So we're going to move him one time. And then whatever you do to the divisor, do the same to the dividend. Okay? So because we moved him one time, we have to be fair and move him one time. So we've done this before where we talked about this. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So then I'm going to move him 1.2. Now, I'm going to rewrite it because I don't want all those messes in my way. So now I have the number 3, but now I have 64.1. And now I come back up here. No decimal here, but I do have the decimal here. What do? I just put them straight up. Okay? And we'll say divide. The third step is divide normal. Normally. Okay? So now I'm going to divide normally as if I have my decimal like I did here. Okay? You want to rewrite the problem. Don't leave these marks in here. Okay? It doesn't take long to rewrite. So now you ask yourself, how many times can 3 go into 6? 2 times. So that's your divide step. Boom. There's your divide step up there. Okay? Cover up. How many times can 3 go into 6? 2 times. So I put the 2 above my 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay? What do I do next? I divide it. I multiply. I subtract. I bring down. Okay? So I bring down the 4. And technically what I should have showed you up here is basically you are going to start over because now you're going to divide again. How many times can 3 go into 4? Well, that's 1 time. So you put your 1 here. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract and you get 1. Bring down the next 1. And now you have how many times can 3 go into 11? That is 2. Notice how I'm putting my numbers right under my digits. Actually, I'm sorry, I just said that wrong. That's 3. My fault. Is 3. Subtract that is 2. Now I can put that extra 0 here, just like I did up there. I'm going to bring him down, and I'm going to put 20. How many times can 3 go into 20? 18. So I'm going to do 6. 6 times 3 is 18. But if you look, you're going to get 2 again, and it's going to just keep going. So that's called a repeating decimal. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to stop right here, and I'll explain more about that in person. Okay? We'll do more of this as a practice, but I wanted you to see it for now. That way you can feel a little comfortable with it. But this is the standard algorithm, and this is how it works without a decimal, if it's in the dividend, or if it's in both, and how you would react to it. Okay? The biggest thing is going to be to know your facts and to be able to do it so well that you get it perfect every time. Okay? Now, if there aren't facts, so if this number here is the 3 turns to a 15, guess what you have a lot to do? You're going to do a lot of side work over here. We'll show that in class. I just wanted you to feel comfortable with how to do the method. All right, hope this helps.